feel like it's the slightest bit immature, but at the same time, I'm kind of living.
They did not just fight this hard over a song. Did you guys watch RuPaul's Drag Race episode 6? If not, it's okay, because here is my recap, and if you did, drop down in the comments below so that we can chat all about it. So the episode starts off with Selena coming back into the workroom with the rest of the queens after defeating Amethyst in the lip sync. We lost Amethyst last week. I was very sad to see her go, but there can only be one winner. And, you know, she says basically to all the queens, Ru woke me up, I'm awake now, so get ready for this ride.
Like, Ru threw that chancla at my head, and now I'm like, bitch, I'm awake. So, bitches, put your seatbelts on, honey, because...
Then the queens all sit down, they talk about the last challenge, and basically Malaysia and Lux Noir. Lux Noir was the one who won the challenge, and Malaysia was, praised for doing such a good job on her dress, and her being somebody who's never, created anything. It was a really, really big highlight for her. So they were both very proud of themselves. Now, it was really funny because you do, at this point, this is a big thread of the episode, is that you do start to see how Malaysia and Mistress are starting to kind of like read each other pretty deeply, especially Mistress. She's really going for Malaysia. And it, like I said, it's going to continue throughout this episode. And... I think I just spit, so sorry. It's a fun ride, I will tell you that. And then the next day, we go into the workplace, the queens come in, and eventually Ru does come in as well and explains what the maxi challenge for the week will be. And basically this week they have to perform in 3 groups of 4 as Golden Gals, or I should say the old Golden Gals, and they need to create their own lyrics to 3 songs of 3 different genres, which are country, hip-hop, and metal. And then the old gays are introduced, and it's funny because Ru calls them in as the Pit Crew.
Ladies, internet sensations, the old gays.
I am so gagged.
To come in and give advice, and all the queens are super excited because they know who they are. They're like an internet sensation. They're like the cutest group of old gay men, and it's just so sweet to see them. But I do realize, like, I feel like this is like this season, I feel like this portion of the episode is always really like cut. I don't know, it makes me really sad though, because I really like that part where you have that one person comes in and talks to them and stuff, and I feel like that's just been kind of like cut short, and that makes me kind of sad. Which reminds me, guys, it makes me so sad that over 90% of you watching this video aren't subscribed. So if you haven't, click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll get to see my wonderful face on your screens the next time I post a video. So next we have the queens. They have gotten themselves into the groups, and they decide now, and now is the time that they have to decide which group is going to take which genre, which is hip-hop, metal, or country. And this is when things start to get intense. And like I said in my intro, I can't believe people were fighting over a song, but they were. Basically, you have 2 groups that want heavy metal, and they won't back down. And this is, like, it's nuts because it literally takes forever. Like, it takes up more of the episode than anything, is them literally going back and forth and not putting their hands up, being like, fine, you take it. Nope. So you basically have 2 groups. The first group is, you have Spice, Aura, Sasha Colby, and Malaysia. And in the second group, you have Mistress, Lux Noir, Selena Titties, and Marsha. And, I mean, it was funny. Mostly Sasha Colby's group, like, just be really, really peeved that, like, Mistress's group was just, like, oh no, well, we're doing metal, so, like, what are you guys gonna do? Like, they just kept playing that game, and it was so funny.
Shine no matter what category.
Yeah, we're not, but we're not gonna just back there like we're not doing it.
But Sasha and Malaysia were not joking around. They were not playing. They did not find it funny that they were just, like, assuming that they were gonna have to take country because the other group was like, oh no, well, we're doing metal. Like, I thought it was freaking funny, but I think they were taking it very seriously. But in the end, they were like, fine, let's just put our names in a hat and then we'll decide that way. Because, I mean, there was no other way. Like, we're going to have to, like, do it by choice that way because none of them were going to back down. But in the end, Sasha's group wins, and they're happy. They got their medal, blah, blah, blah. So everyone goes into their groups and decides to start writing their lyrics. And, basically the both groups that were fighting are both like, okay, well, we have to, like, they're putting pressure on themselves now because they're like, well, we have to be better than the other group. Mistress's group is like, well, we have to kill country. And then Sasha Colby's group is like, well, we were fighting so hard for this. We have to make sure that we're like amazing at metal. So they're putting this pressure on themselves. And at this point, you know, as a viewer, you were probably like, oh man, like who's good? One of them is gonna be in the bottom. Like this is bad because, you know, they were setting it up very much as to like one of them is gonna fail, you know. But next we go to the part where the queens go and record their lyrics, and it's always super fun. I love this because you get to see who can sing and who really does not sing and where it goes wrong. But guys, I was surprised. I was so surprised. I was surprisingly pleased with everyone. Like, I felt like everyone actually did a really good job. But the first group to go in is Anitra, Lucy LaDuca, Robin Fierce, and Jax. They're the ones that are doing hip hop. And they were super cute, and like everyone sounded really good.
Get the fuck off my lawn! Older the berry, the sweeter the juice.
Gonna slay when I ain't in heels. Don't break it!
Except for Robin Fierce. She seems to be struggling.
Oh, don't do it. Blah, 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 blah. Music. I need to restart. That's why I wanted to review it.
I do worry about her in general. I talked about this in my last episode about how Robin Fierce to me is kind of like the one that I'm just like, meh, I don't know. I haven't really seen anything. She kind of just like is there. So she seems to be struggling. But then the second group to come in to record is the country group, and everyone's doing well.
Oh, but I'm having fun. Even at 100 lives just begun. Don't need men, they waste our time, and we don't let these boys get astray.
Except for Selena. Selena's the one who's like worried. She's just like, you know, I'm a chola. Like, I don't know. I'm not white. I'm not from the South. Like, I have no idea how to like play this. So she's also kind of feeling a little bit insecure.
When I started to decay, my son, he sent me straight away. Oh my God.
And then, you know, they really did that, you know, to really put up the pressure because she was in the bottom last week. So they're trying to, like, really make us, like, worry. Like, oh, man, she can be in the bottom again. Producers, I know what y'all doing. I know what y'all doing. The third group goes in, and which is metal. And everyone is doing really well. Sasha Colby slays.
Calling all grannies with them dishes in the air. Cracking this neck, thank God for Medicare.
We were like, oh my God, that came, oh my, like, slayed. And then Aura is the one in that group who's a little bit worried because she's never done this before. And she's just like, I don't want to hurt my boys.
How dare you look me in the eye? Don't get this good.
Enunciate.
We're like, God, you're fine. Like, you're fine. But in my opinion, everyone seems pretty strong. Like, you know, Leyland, the guy who's helping them with the track, like, he doesn't seem like he was, like, very, like, oh, like, I'm worried about you. Like, he was just like, oh, okay. Like, it didn't seem like there was anyone I think that he felt was going to be, like, pretty bad. I don't know. That's what it looked like, at least, you know? Next, we are going into the choreo rehearsal, and Team Hip Hop is first, and they seem to be wasting a lot of time, basically. They're just walking around, and everybody's like, why are they just walking around? They're, like, not doing anything. I'm like, guys, I actually always wonder. Every time I watch these, I wonder how much time they actually get to rehearse. Like, do they give each group, like, an hour, and then, like, that's it, and they have to go back to their, like, rooms and practice, or are they given more time? I don't know. They always make it seem like it's like, oh, the next day we gotta perform, so I don't really know. But I don't know. Whenever I see these, like, choreographed things, I'm like, I know this is just the, like, it's just production trying to sway us and thinking that, like, it's going to be bad or it's going to be really good and then it's bad, you know, something like that. But then we have our next team, which is Team Country, and Marsha is choreographing because she is a theater gal, and she seems like she's going to be real cute. Like, it seems like it's going to be really cute. Like, the way that they were performing and she was coming up with ideas, just seems like it's going to be a really cute number. I wasn't worried. They felt confident. I felt confident watching it. Then the last team is Team Metal, and the queens are doing, like, when they show them rehearsing, I think Sasha's the one who's choreographing it, and it just seems like they're just doing a lot of rock poses and headbanging, and the queens are just like, specifically Mister. She's like, I'm worried for them. Like, that's all I'm seeing on the stage. Like, I don't know. But, like, I understood what Sasha Colby was saying, because it's so true. Like, when you go, like, listen to, like, metal, like, no one's up there, like, choreographing. You know, it's mostly about the energy and the poses and the banging. You got your guitar and the energy you bring. It's not necessarily about being like, I'm gonna hit 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Like, It's not about that. So I totally understood where Sasha Colby was going with this. Then we head into Elimination Day, and the queens are getting ready as always, and then it's story time. And this time our story is with Miss Sasha Colby, and basically she talks about her journey about being a transgender in the queer community, and she goes on to talk about Hawaii and how it was back in the 60s and the 70s, and how there was this drag club, and every Friday they were raided by the police. I was like shocked. I was like, oh my god, the world that we used to live in, and still to this day is still freaking messed up, as we know, in the United States of America.
Back then, when you were in drag, especially the trans women, had to wear a button that said, I'm a boy, because it was illegal to trick all the military guys and stuff.
And all the queens, and specifically Spice, is talking about, you know, how lucky they are, and how times have changed, because this used to be something that you would have to do in secret, and now it's such a big, wide audience. I mean, we're watching it on TV, for Christ's sake, you know? And how lucky they are to be doing what they are doing today and actually be allowed to do it. And Sasha gets super emotional about being able to represent the trans women in this positive space and in this positive light.
Be a representative of that on such a large scale, of a good example of a trans woman. It's so nice. I'm just so happy.
It was a really beautiful and very emotional, for sure. I was very like, oh man, Sasha Colby, you are moving up the ranks for me, girl. I love her. But next, RuPaul is on the runway. And is she killing it this time, guys? I know in my last video I said, oh, I don't know how I feel about Ru. That was taken back because she looked fine in this outfit. She had this like short dress. I mean, you're about to see everything. She had this sweet short dress, and the hair is like very silver, very like 80s. I loved it. It was a great outfit. Loved it. Love you, Ru. And then we move on to the performances, and all the groups go, and the first group to go out is Team Country. In my opinion, they were very, very good. I liked everyone all around, to be honest. It was a very strong number. I was very impressed. There was not one person where I was like, not sure. Like, they were really, really good. Then we had Team Metal go on, and I was worried because this is the one where you're like, oh my god, are they going to do good? They were really, really fighting for this. And guys, they knocked it out of the park. Let's keep these golden years alive. Oh my god, they knocked it out of the park. I mean, honestly, to me, the best were Sasha and Aura. I do think they really, really knocked it out of the park. Sasha specifically, she is not, and this is something that I'll talk about in later on in the recap, but she is definitely someone who is not afraid to go there. She's not afraid to look ridiculous, to look stupid, to become these crazy characters for what she is doing. And that is how you win this competition. You have to be fearless and take risks in this type of competition. And she is showing up, and she was so good.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular.
I honestly, in general, just I really loved her this week. But anyway, we move on to Team Hip Hop, and honestly, I really liked their outfits. I really liked the dancing, because it was hip-hop, so all of them were dancing and doing tricks and stuff, and lots of splits, and showing off what they could do. Specifically Anitra and Jax and Robin Fierce. They were really showing off, their skills. I just felt like I was missing, maybe, a little bit of character. I don't know, it was interesting. I didn't hate it, though. I still liked the performance. I thought everyone was really great. I loved the dancing. I thought Lucy LaDuca was hilarious. She really put on this old granny voice for the lyrics and the song.
Older the berry, the sweeter the juice. All the younger men want a chance to let loose.
It was great. I loved her. But it was interesting because you could tell, for some reason, they kept, I don't know if this was actual legit, but they kept, showing Rue's face, and she just did not seem to love it. She did not like it. She barely laughed. She was kind of and I don't know if that was heavily produced. I don't know if that's actually, cut clips from her looking at another time or another group, or it just, they were kind of making it seem like she didn't like that group. I don't know if that was really produced, but, at least in editing. But they were just making it seem oh, this is going to be the bottom group. Then we move on to the runway. And they kind of breezed through it. I'm not gonna lie. It was so fast. I was kind of like, oh, yes, no. It was so fast. It was a tie-dye category. The category it was tie-dye. In my opinion, Mistress, Luxe Noir, Sasha Colby, and Malaysia were my favorite outfits. I think they were the most slay-worthy. Everyone else, it was just like so fast. I was just like, yes, I like it, maybe. I don't know, I'm not sure. So guys, which runway did you like the most? Let me know in a comment below. And speaking of likes, have you liked this video yet? Because if you haven't clicked that like button, please, it helps the channel out so that I can continue to meet more people like you. So then we're moving on into who is safe this week. And I wasn't surprised by the people that were safe. It was Lucy, Lux, Selena, Marsha, Spice, and Malaysia. So really good group of queens that were safe. I agreed with everyone that was on that list. I think everyone, honestly, this week was a very, very good week. I think a lot of the queens did really well. So it was hard to pick and choose, I will say. But the people that were in the bottom, we'll get into it. I guess I can understand. So then we move on to the critiques, and we start off with Anitra, and they love her runway, but they said that she forgot her lyrics, but that she had fantastic energy. And I'm not gonna, I kind of missed it the first time. I was like, oh, look, it seemed a little bit off, but I didn't realize she was like forgetting her lyrics. But when I watched it the second time to do this recap, I was like, oh, yeah, she did forget her lyrics, which I was kind of shocked because she was a very strong lip syncer in her talent show. So maybe it must have been the nerves, but I still really like Anitra, and I want to see her continue. I want to continue to see her shine because I think she's really, really good. I don't want her to leave just yet. Then we had Jax, and they were not a huge fan of her runway. Neither was I. She was wearing like this weird like orange thing. I don't know. I didn't understand the tie-dye of it, but it is what it is. Jax is one of the ones to me, like, I think she's a very strong performer, but her runway looks are not my favorite. But then the judges, they just basically, specifically Michelle Visage is telling her, like, oh, it was interesting because you were kind of off on the timing. And then Ross also tells her that she kind of stuck out instead of really blending in with the group. And I think it's just because she's so sharp. She's just so sharp. I don't know if that's what it is, but they were just saying that, like, she's not very good at, like, learning to, like, blend in with the group, which also is kind of weird because she was a cheerleader. So, like, that is something that you have to do. So, I don't know. I didn't really get that comment, but it is what it is. Then we go into Robin Fierce, and this is when I was very happy with what I heard.
Use a word for you you're not going to be happy about. Safe. We lose you.
I was like, yes, yes, yes. I've literally been saying this the whole competition. I was like, she's safe. Like, there's nothing that she does that I'm like, oh, yes, she went out, she went for it. She is safe. And Michelle Visage hit the nail on the head with that. They basically say, something's holding you back. And she basically just goes on to say, like, well, I don't take risks. And my friends, I believe that was the nail in her coffin when she said that, because you can't be on this competition and not take risks. But she pretty much tells them, like, oh, I just don't take risks. I stick to what I know because I know people in my life who've taken risks and it doesn't work out for them. And I'm like, girl. And then Rue basically says, like, okay, well, like, if this is, like, your time to do it, like, you have to. Like, basically, like, bitch, you better step your game up. Because if not, you'll be going home. And I totally agree with their critique. I totally agree. You can't be in this competition without taking risks. Then we move on to Mistress. Ross Matthews loves her, said that she outshined everyone in her group, that she was so good. And Rue goes on to say, like, and this one really made me laugh.
When you're back there with Marsha and she thinks that her makeup is done, tell her, okay, you're only halfway done. Okay, more.
I died. I was like, oh my God, Marsha. And, like, I feel bad because, like, that's just her drag. Like, she doesn't necessarily want to wear more makeup. Like, I don't know. That's an interesting thing with the whole drag thing. Like, how much makeup do you actually have to put on? But obviously, to be on RuPaul's Drag Race, Rue's like, girl, you gotta be painted. But yeah, Mistress, they love her. We move on to Sasha Colby, who was, again, a precious gem this freaking episode. And they were like, this is exactly who we want to see. Someone who is fearless, and she's killing it.
That's how you play this game.
And it's sad because like Robin Fierce was like there and she's just like staring like, well, great, that's a dig at me, because she had just said like, I don't want to take risks. And she's like, that's what we're looking for, someone who's gonna be fearless, who's gonna take risks, who's not afraid to go out there and do what she has to do. And I was like, and with this performance, to me, Sasha Colby, top 4 contender for sure. She's definitely in the top 4. That I am sure of. Will she win? She's got a really strong chance at this point. And I know a lot of people had been saying before, like, oh, like, Sasha Colby, she's the winner. And I'm like, I don't know what Sasha Colby is. And the first couple episodes, she was a sleeper to me. I was kind of like, oh, she's good. But I wasn't like, oh, she good. Like, this episode, that's when I rose. And I said, I get it now. I get it. Top 4 contender for sure. Then we ended with Aura, and they talked about how surprised they were by her in a really good way. They didn't know that she could go there, that she could have that energy.
Your performance was so good.
Fantastic tonight. Who knew until tonight you had that kind of power? And
Aura gets really emotional, and she's just like, I'm just really happy to be here. You know, my dad's really happy wherever he is. I'm assuming her dad passed away. And how she's been going through a lot, so she's just really happy to be here. So we come back from a commercial, and Rue announces who the winner of this week's drag challenge was, Maxi challenge was, and it was Aura. I was a little bit shocked, not gonna lie. I would have gone with Sasha Colby, to be honest, but, you know, I mean, I still think Aura did really good, but I thought this was for sure gonna be a Sasha Colby win, but, you know, maybe Rue just wants to share the love, you know, because she already has a win, Mistresses already has a win, and everybody else up there, like, she technically would be the only one who doesn't, who did really, really well. So maybe Rue was just like, let's just spread out the love, and she deserved it. You know, she really surprised us in a way that we didn't know, because they already knew, like, Sasha Colby could go there from other performances. They knew Mistress could go there from other performances, so maybe that's why they went with Aura, but I think Sasha should have won, in my opinion. But that's that. Then Rue, announces the bottom 3. Obviously, Sasha and Mistress are safe. And it is Anitra, Jax, and Robin Fierce. I'm not going to lie, I was very shocked to see Anitra there. But in the end, she was safe, so thank God. I think what saved her was, like, her performance actually was very good. It's just she forgot her
lyrics, which is a really big deal to forget your lyrics as a drag queen.
That's a bad thing. You can't do that.
It's not bad. It's just not good.
I was like, ooh, oh God, don't forget your lyrics. That's never good. But she was safe and all is well. So next, Jax and Robin have to lip sync for their life. And Jax, in my opinion, was a lot stronger. Girl can lip sync. That I can tell. She can perform. Her movements are so sharp. I freaking love it. You can tell she was a cheerleader. You can tell she's been in sports. She knows how to perform in a very, like, strong, sharp. She knows how to perform. She knows how to dance on that stage. It's beautiful to watch, actually. I love her performing. In the end, Robin Fierce is sent home. And I do agree with this. I do. She just wasn't doing it for me this whole season. I kind of felt like she was just kind of like gliding on by, and I think it was fine. I think it was time for her to go. I agree with Rue's decision on that lip sync, but I do worry for Jax for the runway specifically. She's really got to step up her runway. I still haven't seen anything from her that I'm like, ooh, yes, you know, like, I don't know, but I really like her. But I don't think she will make it to top 4. That I'm like, unless she comes out of nowhere, I do not think she will be in the top 4. So Robin Fierce is sent home. She seemed very okay with being sent home, though, to be honest, in her little goodbye, like, behind the scenes. She was just like, you know, like, I wish I could have showed a little bit more part of me, but I'm happy to be here. I was happy to be here and be a part of this, like, legacy and be a part of this group of women, this group of queens that were able to walk through these halls. And I don't know, she just didn't feel, I don't know, maybe that's just what it was. Like, the whole season, I never felt like the passion, in my opinion. You need to have a passion to be this show. I don't know, something was missing for me, and I think that's what it was. But guys, in the end, this was such an awesome episode. This was one of my favorites so far, I'm not gonna lie. It really showcased the strengths of, like, all of these queens. And, like, all these queens are really starting to shine now. And I am starting for sure to see my top four picks, which are Mistress, Lux Noir, Sasha Colby, and this is kind of fluctuating a little bit, but I think I'm seeing Lucy LaDuca in there. Like I said, my fourth is still a little wishy-washy. Lucy could be replaced, but my top three are definitely, like, I'm, like, positive. But, you know, we shall see with next week's episode to see if someone else shines. You never, ever know. So, tell me, guys, what are your thoughts for the top four? Who are you thinking is going to make it? And if you haven't yet, check out some of my other reality TV recaps in this playlist right over here. Bye, guys!